for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu, and I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me? I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That Dre season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building, my whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
Grand rising to all of y'all. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, for the week, allowing our guy Big O to get some much needed rest. But we are so glad that y'all are here with us on this beautiful Wednesday. We know it's going to be a hot one, so let me get right into these headlines here. Of course, right now is a perfect opportunity to tag and share the stream. Please tag and share the stream with folks that you feel could benefit from culturally relevant news emanating from right here in the Emerald City. And as always, we want to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and at KBCS 91.3 over there at Bellevue College. You guys know that we try to give you guys a podcast so that y'all that can't watch the broadcast can hear us. So please, if you guys are not able to follow us on the broadcast, make sure you're tuning into the podcast. They're putting it up there, stream, SoundCloud, but we also have it at Spotify, Apple Music, Google, like anywhere that you find your favorite podcast. So you guys can just look up the Morning Update Show for Converge Media. You guys will find us everywhere you find your favorite podcast. We're keeping this message alive and well during this election season. No excuses. Right now, you guys can also go to whereweconverge.com/shop and pick up some merchandise. A great way to support Black independent media right here, while also sharing your message about giving no excuses to yourself, no excuses to these elected officials or candidates who are looking to become elected officials. It's definitely no excuses season. I think it's all year round, y'all. What do you think? I think no excuses is all year round. We also want to make sure that we keep up the message around the vaccination. It is out there. It is free. So please, you guys, if you are looking to get vaccinated, you guys can get either of the options that they have. That would be Moderna, Pfizer, or Johnson & Johnson. So if you're still looking to get vaccinated, especially as this Delta variant is ramping up and revving up, we're seeing these cases spike right now. King County Public Health is still offering the vaccine for free. And, I love to always make sure we remind you, if you cannot get to a vaccination site, they will come to your home as well. So lots of opportunity for you guys to get vaccinated out there. We want to make sure we let you guys know. Clearly, we are getting some heat coming our way. There is an extreme heat advisory out right now. We always want to make sure we share the message to, check in on your neighbors, check in on the elders that may live in your building if you're in an apartment building, or neighbors if you guys are in single family homes. Double check on people, man. Make sure people are staying hydrated out there. Make sure you're staying hydrated out there. It's important, as we see, so many parks that have water right now are probably going to be really packed this weekend as this heat is ramping up and it's bringing it down on all of us here in the Pacific Northwest. So please pay attention to those excessive heat advisory notifications that are coming out. We want to make sure you guys are staying protected. And we had SDOT here yesterday talking about the Safe Street Survey and their Safe Start 2.0 that they are launching to ensure that restaurants are providing spaces where folks can actually stay safe. So they still have this survey open for about a week or so. We want to make sure you guys' voices are heard on this survey. If you guys are enjoying those additional cafe seating happening in the streets and on the sidewalks, let them know. And if you're not enjoying it, please let them know. At the end of the day, we all are better off when we have a diversity of voices that are pouring into these systems. And this survey by SDOT is one of them. They are being very intentional to listen to community voice. So make sure your voice is heard on that. One of our favorite campaigns over here at Converge, Jake knows this. We got to get our guy, Jake Grabrot, over.
Unbelievable, man. He's the best player in the world. I'm glad he's on my side. And going into a game 7, you want the best player in the world on your side.
The backyard got mountains in it. I do not move until my accountant finish. Big mason jars, each one an ounce.
Yes. Going over to Instagram right now and hit follow walk.into.the.light. So you guys can get some amazing imagery, videos, and great stories from our guy, Jake Grabrot, right over here at Converge. Let's make sure he gets over that 10,000 mark. It's a huge benchmark for him, and we're trying to help make sure it happens. So please follow walk.into.the.light. Coming up next, this is huge. It's happening tomorrow. Build the Beach, for us, by us. This month, they're focusing on the electrical trades, and we had some representatives on the show this Monday, and they were able to give us an in-depth look at how they're being very intentional to bring community members into this $160 million renovation project for Rainier Beach High School. Please, you guys, if you guys are, concerned residents, interested, intrigued, if you want to be engaged in this process and make sure that your voice is heard on this, join their community engagement meeting. It is happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. You guys can go to buildthebeachbyusforus.com to learn more about these upcoming engagement sessions that are happening every month. And they are still a year out from this project even starting. And so it's a huge deal that they are being so intentional to say, right now, we know we need to hear from community members. If any of you out there know of Black businesses or global majority owned businesses that focus on the electrical trades. Let them know about the opportunities, because Valley Electric is saying we have some subcontractor opportunities. We have opportunities for apprenticeships. There's a lot of different ways for folks to get engaged in this project. And I encourage all of you to make sure that Black community in particular, and very specifically, is involved and at the heart of this project, as they are being intentional to try to make sure that that happens. And, we're really excited because the days are shortening up, and it's coming up this Saturday for the SABJ to be paying homage and giving reverence to Connie Thompson's legacy in media. It's going to be happening right at the new Converge Studios this Saturday. Very exciting opportunity for us. Jesse Jones will be there, making sure that Connie Thompson's legacy is known to all of us. It is a great fundraiser for the SABJ, Seattle Association of Black Journalists, as they want to build up their scholarship fund. So the tickets are $10. I know they're dropping the link right now in the comments. You guys can go on, purchase your tickets for this amazing event. And we get to be involved because it's at our studios. It's a huge deal for us. And as we saw in our first Community Voices, we had Joyce Taylor come on and interview Omari. And it was just a huge deal for Omari to be considered and to be looked at and to be reverenced in those ways with the SABJ. We want to make sure that you guys are part of this, and that they're getting our audience to be some fundraisers for them as well, some donors to this amazing, amazing effort. So you guys, please, if you guys haven't already bought your tickets, they're only $10. And again, that production is happening right at Converge Studios. So huge shout out to Miss Connie Thompson and Jesse Jones. Glad they'll be there and doing this on Saturday at 6 p.m. Okay, so we also have some amazing guests today. And I'm really excited because all week I've been able to sit down with some amazing guests. And I'm excited for today's episode as well. We have the Reverend Harriett Walden joining us after this short break. And later on in the show, we have Imani. She's coming from Rooted 23 to give us a lowdown on how things are going on right there on 23rd Avenue. Imani's been keeping the engagements with vendors up, and a lot of great activity and programs coming out of Rooted. And then ending the show today, we have Josh Binda. He is the 21-year-old Black male that is running for Lynwood City Council. We're going to get the lowdown on Josh, his story, and what he's looking to bring to Lynwood. So, you guys, I'm excited to dive in with my guest today. Stay tuned after this short break. You're watching The Morning Up.
I did it for the city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
Market Street Shoes, slinging kicks since 2006, with styles that support you and yours, getting the F outside or staying comfy when you just want to lounge indoors as well. But wait, Market Street Shoes is way more than just a shoe store. Gear up for your next outdoor adventure with apparel and accessories that'll have you looking good on the streets, the trail, or even in your own backyard. With locations in Ballard, Redmond, and online at marketstreetshoes.com, there's undoubtedly a style and size that'll fit your lifestyle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and joining me right now on set is the Reverend Harriett Walden of Mothers for Police Accountability. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning and grand rising to you.
Thank you.
The great thing is that, we're getting used to this now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've come on many times,
Yeah.
and really you always have such a kind and great word for us. And I know there's some great things happening with Mothers for Police Accountability. Let's dive right into it. What's going on right now?
Well, what's going on right now is this is our 31st year. I had no idea that we would still be doing this since we started in 1990. What else is going on is that we decided that we can talk about the police issues and what's happening in the Black community that way, but we also got to support the mothers, mothers whose children have been killed in the community, not by police, but 81 mothers is weeping from last year up until this July, and all of the people who cry Black Lives Matter is silent. It has been no a word of condolence from the city council, and you have Tammy Morales has never been out in the community. She's never given a word of condolence to anyone on the South End. Lorena Gonzalez, who is citywide right now, has never ever said a word. Teresa Mosqueda. All these are mothers, mind you. They're all mothers, and not a word to the weeping mothers. So we had a press conference and we called for a safety plan. What is the safety plan? I mean, and we asked for cameras in the high profile areas. We've been doing that for a while. Might have to take on the ACLU, but it's not their children. It's not their children. Also for the spot shotters. So you can tell exactly where some of the shot spotters, where some of the shots are coming from. So we have to grow up to do both and. We can no longer just have a one sides working for accountability. We have to want accountability in all areas. So sure, we want accountability. We want police. We want constitutional policing. We want them to reimagine policing, but we want safety in our community. We want people to be safe, and we have to claim that we deserve to have a safe community. Yeah. And to work that way, and so we've been working with mothers who absolutely have, who's carrying this burden of having buried a child. I mean, I'm one of those mothers, but my child had an illness and was not killed on the streets or something like that. But it's still a club.
Yeah.
No mother on the planet wants to be in that club.
Yeah.
No.
This is something that I think is so intriguing, the perspective around caring for the mothers. I think it's very, very on point. Right. And we're seeing not just a rise in gun violence here in King County and in Washington State, but across the nation.
Across the nation.
It really is. And, when you think about what it looks like for those who are over creating new policy and legislation, right, so much of it is about being able to center the voice of the mothers. What do you think is some of the next steps in terms of, really getting folks that care to start, centering these mothers when they're thinking about reform?
Well, I mean, and I don't think they care, because those lives don't matter. The lives that matter is for the lives that rightfully so. See, these are two rightful issues. They should not have to compete. It is a rightful issue around police brutality. But there's also another righteous issue over here about mothers and the violence in the community. So how do we stand on both of them? And I think people have to grow up enough to absolutely understand this both and. It's not either or. And Dr. Joy Hardiman says the old ancient Africans knew it was always both and. And that either or choosing is not inherent to our culture. Yeah. We come from a culture that could do both and could wed those. And so that's what we're calling for. We're saying, let's wed these issues together and support the mothers and to listen to their voices, but also interject spirituality. Yeah. I mean, we have come a long ways from Harriet Tubman believing in precognition. That meant that she could see the future. Okay, that meant she had eyes in the back of her head. That meant that she believed in something that was guiding her. And somewhere down the line, we're not believing that anymore. I mean, spirituality is important to our culture. And there's a disconnect when someone could walk up to Tyrone Love, his name Love, and shoot him in the head. And he died on the streets. And you knew Tyrone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of people knew Tyrone, okay? And I mean, so there's a disconnect, and it's a spiritual disconnect. We have to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, and legislature, all the legislature in the world cannot legislate the heart.
Yeah.
Cannot.
You know, you're just hitting something for me that is so poignant, because I talk to my sons often about centering spirituality, spiritual practices, understanding, you know, the divinity within us, right? And, you know, we all come from that spark. And what does that mean? And how are we able to allow that to be the center of our decision making, at the heart of how we treat others and respond to all of these different things, that we allow ourselves to manifest that peace within. And I agree with you 100% on this, that it's not talked about enough, especially with regard to policy, legislation, all of these things that are forward thinking and innovative in and of their own right. But when you talk about our ancestors understanding this village mentality, it was because spirituality was at the center of it all, right? And so every practice that was there, when I think about the ancient Kemet, for instance, right? Every practice that was there was about reinforcing that.
That's right.
And so then it was like everybody understood this collective covenant of how to be. And, you know, part of some of the work I do in community is, how do we get new age folks and our elders and everybody to be on board with that very same mentality? It's a set of principles. And I think about what we had when we grew up here in the Central District. You know, it was like, if some auntie on the block was telling me to take my little butt home, I wasn't going back at auntie or telling my mom and dad, oh, so-and-so was trying to talk to me and parent me. It was very different. And that idea of embracing each other, that's what we need to bring back.
Well, we've accepted other people's culture. I mean, that's not inherent in ours. I grew up in segregation. So really, my neighbors actually took care of me, and we took care of them. And when somebody called me and wanted me to do something, I had to do that. I mean, go to the store or whatever they needed. Sometimes I had to write a letter for something. Sometimes I had to thread a needle. Come here. I got to, you know, I can't get this needle thread. Now I have to call somebody. Come here and thread this needle. But we have to remember who we are. In the midst of this tragedy that's going on, we have really forgotten who we are. I mean, really, we are the receipts that our ancestors made it. All of us, we are the receipts that they made it through degradation. And whatever we're going through today does not match in any way what was going on in 1862. Actually, when I grew up in Jim Crow, it does not. Someone continues to plant this idea that our children can't make it, or something is missing. Everything they need is inside them. All they need is to have someone to absolutely spark to bring it out, really and truly. They're not victims. They're victorious because they're alive because their ancestors made it. They are the better day that the ancestors prayed for. And just understanding that each of us, all of us are the better days. And then check this out. Our ancestors made it through the first pandemic, 1919, 1919, and 2019. That's why we're here. So we have so much going for us that we have not been able to capitalize on. Can you imagine that 100 years ago, our ancestors made it through?
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
That's right.
Some whole families, just like now, some whole families are not making it. Our ancestors made it through. We owe them something. Absolutely.
Well, this is just beautiful, because I think legacies like Mothers for Police Accountability, being able to celebrate 31
years. Isn't that amazing?
I mean, it really is. And, you know, you guys are still staying strong. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it. I have been able to see the support around mothers. It's always had this starch community support, because people understand the importance of it, right? So people are supportive of this. What are some of the ways that if folks want to get out there and get connected to Mothers for Police Accountability, what are some of the ways that they can do that right now?
Well, they can check out our website at www.mothers, mothers for policeaccountability.org. They can call us up on our hotline. It's 206-329-2033. They can text me. They can donate. Our annual Mother's Justice Breakfast is in November 4th, and we don't know if it's going to be virtual or not. And if it does, we're going to reach out to Converge. And also, I personally, the Family Empowerment Institute that breaks the silence on black crime and how we feel about it and how we work on that, host Marcus Garvey Books Clubs. Next Tuesday is Marcus Garvey birthday, and we're having a party here at 6:30 to 8 for Marcus Garvey. He said, "Look for me in the whirlwind. When you call me, I will come." That's what he said, and I will come with the spirits from the slaves of America and the Caribbeans and Africa to help you fight for liberty. And the ancestors are helping us now. So it's going to be a party here, red, black, and green, for Marcus Garvey here, and all my work is all connected.
Yeah.
You know, you can't separate it. It's all connected. You know,
I love it. I love it. I've been able to participate in one of those Marcus
Garvey
parties.
Yeah, we're determined. We're Garveyites. I am a Garveyite, and I'm determined to keep his name alive, because what he did for us, what kind of uplift, up you might erase, accomplish what you can't, you know. And one of the famous quotes, he said, you should never go down in intelligence. And so if you read 4 hours a day, you can if you get an uneducated man and you teach him to read, and in 2 years, if he read 4 hours a day, he would be up. He would be an educated man. I was up to 2.5 hours before I got on Facebook. Okay, I gotta go back, because that took some of my time away. But can you imagine? And I always walk with a dictionary and learn new words every day. All of that is just enhancing who you are, and that's what our young people can do. We can help them enhance the beauty of who they are.
Well, I just can't thank you enough, Reverend Harriett Walden, for all of your work in community, all of your work with Mothers for Police Accountability. You're my go-to. I call you when I need some advice. You know how close we've gotten over the years, and I'm so appreciative of all the work that you're doing out here and pouring into your community continuously. You've never stopped.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
you for being with me today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. You guys, I mean, it gets no better. You guys know this every time. Such a positive energy and light right here in this space. So you guys heard it right there. This coming Tuesday, Marcus Garvey birthday, right here at the Liberty Bank building in the community room, 6:30 to 8.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, I'm excited, because coming up, we're going to keep this party rolling with Imani from Rooted 23. She's going to give us the lowdown on all of the programming they have going on, staying right here connected to the community in the Central District. Stay tuned after this short break, you guys. You're watching The Morning Up.
Hey guys, it's Besa Gordon from Converge Media. You can catch me on my show Rewind with Besa, which airs every other Saturday at 2 p.m. anywhere you watch Converge Media. Now, I know a lot of us still have questions about the COVID-19 vaccine. However, here are a couple things you don't have to question. Everyone 12 years and older in Washington State are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. It's free, and you don't even need insurance or citizenship status to get vaccinated. If you still have questions, and I know you probably do, you can visit kingcounty.gov/COVID for additional information. You can also call the King County COVID-19 call center at 206-477-3977 to get COVID-19 and the vaccination questions answered, get translation services if needed, set up an in-home vaccination appointment for yourself or someone you know may not be comfortable at a vaccination site due to a disability, anxiety, or other reasons. Look, with summer being here, now is the time to get all your COVID-19 vaccination questions answered so we can all get out the house and live our best lives again.
Hey, it's me, downtown Seattle, C-Town. Wish you were here. Here to explore inside, outside, and everywhere in between. Where it's easy to get my good side. Here, where my rooftops invite you to come early and stay late. Where every view is a postcard And each night out might be your best night ever. See you soon. Love, C-Town.
Market Street Shoes, slinging kicks since 2006, with styles that support you and yours, getting the F outside or staying comfy when you just want to lounge indoors as well. But wait, Market Street Shoes is way more than just a shoe store. Gear up for your next outdoor adventure with apparel and accessories that'll have you looking good on the streets, the trail, or even in your own backyard. With locations in Ballard, Redmond, and online at marketstreetshoes.com, there's undoubtedly a style and size that'll fit your lifestyle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and it's been such a beautiful show already, and it's going to continue to do so. Bringing in Miss Imani Blake from Rooted 23. What's up, Imani?
Hey, love.
Hey.
You know, we always so busy, so every time we see each other, it's like, hey, family.
I know. You already know.
Yes.
I mean, and the thing of it is that I know that you're, now over there operating Rooted 23, but I see you all over the place.
I know, right?
You're all in community. You
Wearing
do
different
vending
hats.
opportunities. You be cooking. I heard you
know.
be spitting on the mic. I mean, you really bring your whole self to this community. How has it been for you to be now operating out of Rooted 23 right there on 23rd?
Well, first of all, it's definitely a pleasure to be in the CD. Being all the history, yes, I'm not originally from Seattle. I've been here 10 years, but I was gravitated towards the history of the Black people in the Central District, as well as connecting with Africatown and different orgs around the area. So it was always like in my heart, because one thing about us, no matter what part, where are you from in the United States or overseas or whatever, one thing about us is when we find our people, we normally gravitate and build with our people.
Yeah.
So that's how it's been. And I was like beyond blessed to be able to get a space during the pandemic in the Central District. And I got the space and the name came to me after that, and it was Rooted. And it's rooted in the CD, which was planting seeds. That's what came back to me. The trauma around the gentrification in the neighborhood is like, how can I hold down an institution or a space that will allow the community to come back together? So, like you said, I vend also. So the retail store is there, but the biggest part of Rooted is the coming together that we do. Yeah. And we have Wise Woman Wednesdays. Then after Wise Woman Wednesdays, we launched Melanated Men Monday. So the men, they control the Melanated Men Mondays, and it's just a place to come together, heal. We've had East African coffee ceremonies there. We've had story time with Imani for the children. So we try to include everything as a family there. It's like coming to Auntie's house, girl. You know how I feel when you come in there. So
it really is.
Yeah, it's just a blessing.
But I think you've also been very intentional. I mean, when you talk about, like what Reverend Harriett Walden was just saying before the break, bringing spirituality into it, right? And so, Wise Women Wednesdays, I keep hearing about it. I keep hearing about it. And to be very intentional and then to have something that's specifically for men. I think that's what we need in our communities. Yes. We need those opportunities to touch and agree to, even if you don't agree, let's figure it out. Let's conversate.
Yes.
Let's, have that good conversation so we can begin to understand, as we always say here on Converge.
To be able to put our wisdom together. Yeah. And actually build trust amongst each other. It's a lot of trauma based around separation of us. So that having a space to unify, especially in the Central District, is like, yeah, something that I never thought that I would have. And I'm grateful for that. And it's been a year now. You know, it's been challenges, it's been highs and lows. But at the end of the day, it's all been a wonderful experience, a wonderful healing experience. A lot of people give me testimonies of how Rooted changed their life. And, you know, when I hear that, I'll be like, oh man, you know, I gotta really, you know, keep it up. Cause sometimes it gets discouraging when you're in a retail shop and, you know, your people don't show up and you have, you know, merchandise geared towards the healing and holistic nature. My biggest thing is herbs, you know, so when people were getting sick with COVID, people were coming to get burdock root, people were coming to get sea moss gel, people were coming to get different things, you know. And I kind of feel like we are like crisis oriented people, you know, already. So I want to like wellness to be people's everyday.
Yeah.
You know, to not just be in a situation where, so we started talking about wellness and doing wellness things around there, sound healing and things like that. We just had a sound healing at down by Seward Park. So yeah.
So amazing, because I know Niles Edge is like right there too, right? And that's their whole modicum.
Oh my goodness.
It's a beautiful, like you said, like family.
Yes. And so Niles Edge moved out and I moved in downstairs, and it's like we just missed each other. And I'm definitely going to work with Niles Edge close in the future. Before I got into the space, I wasn't aware of Niles Edge and all that Niles Edge was doing. But yeah, we kind of are reflections of each other. I mean, you know, it takes great minds to know that the community need healing, and it takes leadership to do it. And it could be a challenge, but at the end of the day, when you see it actually manifesting and happening, it's like, yes, it's life.
Yeah. Well, you know, the space you're in is just so iconic as well, right? And so, you know, that's a part of it. I think that when I think back to the many different businesses that have been there, even when I grew up right down the street here in the CD, wow, you know, to be able to go in there, you know, like the other day, I didn't even have no earrings on. I had to hit you up, honey, you at the shop. Like, I'm like, hold on,
come on,
like,
I got you.
Yeah, you're like, come on, I got you.
You look this so beautiful. But yes, that space. I hear Dr. Larry, which was one of the first Black optometrists to own that space. So his daughters, he passed, I believe, 5 years ago, and his daughters still own it. So yeah, I rent from them. So it's Black on Black on Black. You know, currently right now, they're thinking about selling, which we're gonna actually try to make sure that if she does sell it, it's to us or someone in the community. You know, that would be great to keep it as a historic location. And I remember an elder came in there when I first got in there. They was like, this space always make money. It's always, so, you know, that's a good order to have. That I heard it's been a lot of different businesses and the Black Mecca across the street. And, you know, that was quite before, you know, a little bit before I came. But yeah, I'm just thankful to be in alignment.
Yeah. And you really are. And then you're not just doing this for yourself. I mean, you are pulling together vendor opportunities. I've seen y'all lining the streets of 23rd. How has it been? Because I know you're at all these different festivals and, you know, events going on in community, but then you were like, you know what, let's just start doing stuff and bringing vendors here. How has that been? Because I know it's been really allowing certain businesses to launch, to be supported during this COVID times as some of the sales are down.
So actually, the vending opportunities that started, it has to start when you have a space. So like you said, you see me in a community vending, and coming from a vendor's perspective, I know what vendors need. They need an opportunity, they need a space. So it started as, okay, I have this space, what should we do with it? Oh yeah, we should line vendors up down 23rd. And it started in the fall when people weren't really doing vendor events. So we were out there like all winter. People was like, hey, I've been seeing you all winter. So, when summertime come, I kind of, take a step towards the wellness and the healing things and back off of the vending because it's so many different events happening. But the melanated markets, yeah, we're right back up on them. Rooted's year anniversary is coming up. We opened September the 1st of last year. And so we're going to have our anniversary September the 11th at Rooted. So we have space for vendors, no cost to them. Some vendors that have started with me, such as CMOS Boss, that was her first time ever vending or launching her business, and she has great product. She have really taken off, and it's several more vendors that was their first time vending at Rooted and have now planted the seeds and just like beyond capacity have taken off. So
Sword,
yes,
because CMOS Boss is amazing.
Yes,
by the way.
her product.
Amy Jean, like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
I mean, the thing of it is that I feel like kind of what Reverend Walden was saying, we're getting back to the things that we knew how to do in, in our ancient times, our ancestors.
Yes.
A lot of that stuff is coming back. And Imani, you're such a great part of that.
Thank you. Thank you. And my vision was to not order from China, and I haven't, and I don't order from online. All the products that is in my store is created locally and abroad, by people that are using their creativity, like Vibe Up Momentum, making candles and things like that. So when people come in the shop, they say, oh, I know whose product this is. Yeah. So it's kind of turned into a hub, for the local vendors that's creating. And yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, we're on Instagram, Rooted 23rd, as you know. We're on Facebook, so we're connecting with a lot of people outside of the community now. And I'm just looking forward to getting through this, navigating with my piece through this challenging time, to just make sure that we stay rooted in the CD and we continue to plant seeds for the community. That's what it's all about.
Well, you're definitely doing it. And I got to say, thank you for planting roots right here in the CD,
Thank you.
Being here 10 years.
Thank you all for receiving me.
Yeah, come on.
You know how Seattle
It's all love. No Seattle freeze over here in the CD.
Okay.
It's all love.
It's all
and
love.
I just wanted to, really have you on today so that people could understand some of the great things you're doing up there at Rooted. It is really community based, and you know how much I adore you.
I always felt love from you from day one.
Yes.
Yeah,
so I
thank
just
you.
appreciate
I
you.
appreciate the love.
You guys heard it right here from Imani. If you guys are out there, a vendor, somebody looking to start a business, not sure if you have some ideas and you just need the space, Imani is there. You guys can follow Rooted23 on IG. You guys can follow them on Facebook. Figure out if these are the opportunities that you need, because Imani is here to give them to you. I'm so excited that you were here.
Yes, thank you.
So coming up after this short break, you guys, we have another inspiring story with Josh Binda, the 21-year-old Black male running for Lynwood City Council. He's holding it down out there, and I can't wait to dive into his story. Stay tuned after this short break. You guys are watching The Morning Update.
Market Street Shoes, slinging kicks since 2006, with styles that support you and yours, getting the F outside or staying comfy when you just want to lounge indoors as well. But wait, Market Street Shoes is way more than just a shoe store. Gear up for your next outdoor adventure with apparel and accessories that'll have you looking good on the streets, the trail, or even in your own backyard. With locations in Ballard, Redmond, and online at marketstreetshoes.com, there's undoubtedly a style and size that'll fit your lifestyle.
it's me, downtown Seattle, C-Town. Wish you were here. Here, to explore inside, outside, and everywhere in between. Where it's easy to get my good side. Here, where my rooftops invite you to come early and stay late. Where every view is a postcard, and each night out might be your best night ever. See you soon. Love, C-Town.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and it has been an amazing, phenomenal show today. And I'm so happy I get to end the show and wrap up with my guest right here, Josh Binda, out there vying for Lynwood City Council at 21. What up, Josh?
How's it going, guys? Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be here and have a conversation. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about my journey and who I am and what I'm hoping to accomplish. So I just want to say, yeah, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So thank you, guys.
I mean, absolutely. There's no way that we could hear about a Black man, 21 years old, running for city council and not find a way to be sure that we get your story captured right here on the Morning Update Show. So I'm glad that you're here. And I want to dive right in. I mean, clearly you saw a void and you're looking to fill that void. Let's hear a little bit about your beginnings that makes you feel like, man, these are the things that led me to where I am today.
First I will always start off by saying I want to give God the glory for everything he's done for me in my life. It's truly been a blessing, and seeing him bring me along this journey and bring me here is something I always want to shine light upon, because that's just part of my faith and who I am. My journey kind of has been started from before I was even born. It's kind of this whole epitome of what's happened with me has started way before I was born. My family originally are from the West African country of Liberia. And so originally there was a war going on in our country, a civil war at this time. It was in the late 1990s. My family were kind of escaping this war, so they were kind of war refugees at the same time, both my dad and my mom, and they had my infant brother who was 1 year old at the time. And so once this was happening, my family was trying to find a way to get out. And my dad luckily had played this international lottery kind of thing during like a little bit before the war had started. And I think it's like a national visa that if you win, you get to travel to whatever country you want to go to and do what you want to do in that sense. And so during this war that was happening in the country that we were from, my family had found out that they'd won. And so because of that, my dad, my mom, and my infant brother was able to escape this war going on in our country and come to America. And they didn't obviously know many people or know anything about this country, but my dad had some sort of family born and raised in like Rhode Island here in Washington. I mean, not in Washington, in the country here. And so because of that, my family was able to escape and immigrated here to America and had nothing but the clothes on their backs. You know, they didn't know much, they didn't know anybody or anything like that. And so they originally immigrated to Rhode Island. And that was where I was born in 1999, a year later in Providence, Rhode Island. And since then, it's just been a unique journey because my mom and dad had separated at this time. And so my dad went off to go to school. So my mom was raising 4 kids on her own. And we grew up in, very impoverished areas. There wasn't, the schools weren't the best. I grew up with a lot of gang violence, drug dealers, you name it, we saw it. And even my mom, she told me a story before she'd go to work in the morning. She'd drop us off at our babysitter. And there was a time where at our front porch, she was coming out and we were in the car as little kids. I was an infant at this time. And so there was a kind of drug deal going bad right in front of her. And it ended up being someone got fatally shot right in front of my mom. And she had witnessed that and saw and tried to, regurgitate this person, but it was too late. And she had eye-to-eye contact with this guy, and he ended up, just running off. So by God's grace, she was able to survive that moment. But her getting in the car, she told me she broke down, having me in the backseat, my little siblings in the backseat. And I think from that moment on, my mom just knew we had to get out of there, And so growing up, we moved out of Providence, went to Pawtucket, Rhode Island, grew up there, My history is kind of interesting because I wasn't always, the best example. I grew up, I was in the system, I was in and out of school. I got suspended. I was getting in and out of trouble. I was getting involved with the wrong crowd back then. And so it wasn't until my dad had, because he went to Texas for school. And so he got a job at Boeing right after he graduated. And so he moved up to Washington. And through this, he was telling my mom, he's like, hey, I think we should get some of the kids out of there. I think it'd be a better environment for them coming out here to Washington. And I was like, at that time, my mom gave me an option. You can come out, you can go live with your dad, you could stay here. And I didn't know what it was. I had no reason to leave. My mom lives out there, my family, friends, everyone I knew, but I just felt a calling. There was a calling on my spirit.
Well, let me say this. I mean, we're going to just take a short break and get some technical stuff done, but it sounds like you found your way to Washington.
Yeah.
And we're going to pick up right there after this short break right quick, you guys.
Public Health, Seattle, King County, Zero Youth Detention, along with our partners from across the South King County region, are committed to reducing violence and creating the conditions needed for our neighborhoods to be safe and free of crime. Too often, the response to crime and violence has been a piecemeal approach with a program here and a program there. When family units collapse, schools fail to educate, the economy fails to produce jobs, and crime rises, we've looked to law enforcement and punitive measures to save us. Nothing could be more wrong or further from the truth. Law enforcement can't shoulder all the burden or take the rest of us off the hook. We are acknowledging the lived experiences of Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities. We are centering community as the experts who can effectively identify key issues related to systems, policies, and practices that impact children, families, and communities of color across this region. Those most impacted by the issues will help call out and identify the root causes, including structural and systemic factors. 150 residents will partner with King County to develop strategies, solutions, and an action plan that explicitly addresses system changes needed and eliminates barriers to access for Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks. These residents will also identify the criteria used to measure our collective success. Simply put, we need your help as we do the work needed to make King County the safest in this country. It will take specific commitments from all of us, community members, our young people, elders, and leaders from the sectors all across this region. Together.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. We wanted to make sure that you guys were hearing Josh's story, so we wanted to make sure our audio was good. But Josh, you were just giving us a really great rundown of, Rhode Island all the way to Washington. Your dad moved out here with Boeing, and then clearly you decided it's time for me to come out there to Washington.
Yeah, I had a calling, and I knew in order for me to be the person that could actually be someone in society that makes a difference, I had to leave. And at that time, 13 years old, I didn't know what I was doing. I just had a calling to come out here in my spirit, and I felt it. And so once I came out here, it was a whole cultural shock. You know, I went from growing up around African Americans, Latinos to, you know, whites and Asians. I went to a privileged school, Camiac. I went from underfunded schools. I went from, you know, bad environments to, you know, nice neighborhoods and rich areas. And I remember specifically a memory I had in my head when I first got through orientation. I was driving by because I came out here when I was a freshman in high school. I was driving by the middle school. And I remember thinking, I was like, is that the high school? And then my dad was like, no, that's the middle school. I was like, that's the middle school? I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. Because, you know, that's the kind of, you know, that would be an infrastructure that would be our kind of high school where I was from. And so I remember going through that phase and going through high school, and I felt out of place for a little while, you know, because, you know, I obviously didn't know how to interact with the, you know, people of that demographic. I didn't grow up around people of that demographic. I was different. I talked different. I act different. My swag was different, everything. And everybody, you know, I stood out immediately. But I think what helped me converge, what helped me get, you know, fit in a little more was I was an athlete. You know, I was a all-conference football player, football captain. I was a state track athlete. So, you know, through sports, I was able to, you know, find a way to connect with the body. And by my senior year in high school, I was already very well connected. I was already very well known. My personality, everything I was spoke out. I was a leader. I was, you know, ASB president at Snowell Tech, where I did aerospace engineering for 2 years. And I was also, like I said, football captain. I was, you know, a state track athlete as well. And so by then I'd gained the confidence among the community, whatever demographic they were. And I knew that my personality kind of came to light more, and who I am kind of showed out more. And so throughout that journey, once I graduated high school, I've always been someone that's had a passion for the community, always been someone that's had a passion for wanting to make a difference, but I didn't know how. And so at this time, I started working on airplanes right out of high school, going to school full time. But I was doing more aerospace engineering, stuff like that. But I was always involved in the city stuff, in the city affairs and what was going on. And I always had a passion and calling to, you know, make a difference, not just in my community, but in the world. And so I just remember I ended up one day switching my major to political science because I just had, like I said, I wanted to figure out, I felt like government was maybe a way I could find a way to impact people's lives. And then everything from last year with George Floyd and the protests and stuff like that. And
because I saw you organizing.
I organized about 6 or 7 protests across Washington State. And throughout this process, I got involved with the mayors, the city officials, the chief of police, all these things, and organized them, you know, like straight up organized. And some of them we had a couple thousand, and some of them we had a couple hundred, but they were all very organized, very peaceful. Nothing happened that was wrong. And it was just us, you know, vocalizing, you know, the issues that systematic racism has caused among the BIPOC community and the Black community, and what ways we want change through legislation reform. And and I have a whole journey, a whole story I could talk, but we know this is a limited time, so I'm going to break it down as small as I can. But through that, I think I just realized my passion and heart for making change was through this. And what I wanted to do was being an advocate, an advocate. And someone that wants to stand up not just for Black lives, but for all lives, for all injustice, for all things that aren't created equal.
Well, you know, just for me, even my outlook, when I think about Lynwood, I'll be honest, I think very white, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, exactly what you're talking about in terms of injecting a diversity of voice, a difference of perspective. And I think your age plays into that too, because as someone who's 21, this is a huge feat for you to say, this is how I'm going to make this kind of change. And I want to make sure that folks that look like me, young people that have similar perspectives as me, are involved in moving progress forward at a political sphere. What are some of the things that you are really centering on when you think about, you know what, I'm going to do it at the city council level, and these are some of the things I really want to see happen if I get that seat?
Well, yeah, that was a big part of my journey. And it's kind of cool seeing it inspire other people my age, because, you know, you don't think when you're 21 and you don't think when, you know, you're a college student, you can create these kind of changes and be a difference maker. And so seeing my campaign kind of pick up traction and pick up this kind of break the narrative of what people think politics is and what people think you can be to qualify for these things, and do it in a way that's not only been shown in a good light, but successful. We just got back the primary results, and I not only won, but I pretty much, you know, kicked ass, you know. And so it just
You
shows.
said what, 45?
It was a 45% of the vote. And at 21, you know, for 45% of us say to say we trust this 21-year-old African American to lead us into the future, to take care of our city. It speaks volumes. It speaks that this need of the youth and this need of our generation has been there for a long time. It's always been wanted, but no one's really stepped up to do it because of the perspective of what you have to be able. When you look at politics, you see 60, 50-year-old white people. And so all it takes is sometimes every time there has to be that one person that just goes in there and breaks the barrier, and it sets the tone for everything. And I'm glad that I could be someone that's kind of a catalyst. You know, I'm hoping I'm not the only one. I'm hoping along this time, many people come along and also break this barrier, this narrative that you have to be a certain demographic or you have to have a certain qualification to want to make a difference. Because want to make a difference and want to make a change just comes from being, first of all, a good person. And second of all, knowing right from wrong. And third, just having a passion for people and knowing what the people want and fulfilling those purposes. That's what government's for. It's fulfilling the needs of the people and making the best decisions on behalf of the people. And if you have that heart and that passion and that drive, and you have the will to want to handle every issue, then you can do it. It's possible.
You know, it's so possible. And that's why your story is so inspiring, because I understand it's a huge feat for you, but I also understand the impact that, you know, you running and the impact that it can have in terms of setting the tone. Like you're saying, opening that door so that young people go, wait a minute, he did it. You know what? I've always thought the same. I want to do something too. And I think that is so key when we're talking about progressing in a way that really brings, for me, it's always equity. Because equity for me is ownership. It's a sense of agency. It is bringing those voices that have not been a part of systems and creating systems, is bringing them to the forefront so that those systems can now be diversified and changed in ways that really set the tone moving forward. So, I mean, you told me, man, you was door knocking. You made sure people knew.
I made my impact known. First off, started off, I got the press release right on top of that. King 5 hit me up right when I came out and said, yeah, I want this out there. I want people to know my intentions. And it was a little bit of a dangerous game, because when you go out there as early as that, it gives people time to build up, you know, strategies to take you down, bags. But I said, no, I'm going to stand here. I'm going to stand strong. I want people to know I'm coming. Josh Binda's coming. I wanted them to know. And so I got out there early. As soon as I released that press release, you know, it grasped attention. And I was like, all right, we got the attention of the eyes of the people. Now let's make the work. Let's make them believe in me. Let's do that. And so I went, throughout the last 3 months, I went door to door to door. I hit about 2,000 doors, just talking to the people, letting them know my vision. Say, hey, Lynwood needs this. This is what I'm hoping to offer. And over time, I just saw more and more people. It's like, wow, this kid, like, who is this kid? Like, this is something I want to see. You know, this is something, you know, a lot of times I went to door, people like, yeah, you're the first ever politician or ever person ever come to my door and actually talk to me face to face. And that alone earns people respect.
It says huge things. And for me, I think you're so right. I've been saying this in terms of so many different things, advocacy, you know, as we think about, you know, George Floyd and so many people being on the streets. I mean, when we hit those doors, it's a different thing. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're like, you know what, my presence in Lynwood at the city council level is going to do these things specifically.
Oh yeah, my presence in Lynwood is 100% needed. First of all, there's a huge generational gap. Like we have 50, 60-year-olds on our city that are deciding on the future and like things that are happening in our city that involve people my age. And you know, when you have that kind of gap and that kind of breach, there are things that have changed over time that don't work anymore. And so there's that gap. There's a diversity gap. You know, it's an all white except for one Latino woman council. And when you have that kind of perspective, it leaves out how do they know what affects the BIPOC community? How do they know what affects, you know, the Latina community? How do they know what affects the Asian community? Like when you don't have a voice that says, hey, like this decision you make might actually like affect this community in a certain way, because it's not going to affect everybody the same. Not everyone's you know, rich homeowner, that stuff like that. There are renters, there are people living in affordable housing, there are people living in different types of lifestyles that your decision is going to impact them just as much. And so that having that perspective is so necessary and so key. And just in general, there's a huge controversy in Lynwood going on right now with a kind of a jail that they're hoping to build. They're trying to build this bigger jail that's going to house about 122 beds, I think. 22 they're saying for mental illnesses, and 100 beds total that they're going to be renting out to different cities and all that. And right now we currently have a jail that beds about 45, 46 beds, and they probably fill that to 3 or 4 people a night. And so to want to expand that kind of jail into our city, it just shows that they're in the profit for incarceration business. And, you know, when you look at incarceration, 80-something% of people incarcerated are of what people? BIPOC community. So you build a bigger jail, you have more policing. Who gets affected the most? The BIPOC community. And so when you have those kind of situations, those kind of things happening in our city, having a voice that says, no, like this is how it's going to affect everyone else, and make a decision. My vote, who knows, my vote could turn over things. It can be like, that could be the final say that could say, no, this is not happening. And not just having that kind of implication, that kind of power alone makes a huge difference. And I'm someone that I'm a voice of reason. I'm a voice of someone that wants to stand for the people. And so I'm hoping that not only can I change perspectives by my vote, but by heart-to-heart conversations that need to happen. Like, hey, like talking to them, say, hey, like, I know this is how you guys have felt. I know how this, but this is what it is. This is how it affects us. This is how it affects us. Now you make your decision. You know, that is powerful enough. And just having that branch, that, you know, that breach there can just change hearts, you know. And I'm not hoping just to come and change people's votes. I want to change hearts on my journey and really get people to understand what the decisions they're making. And that's going to be even more powerful than anything I could possibly do by any position of power, is changing hearts and changing perspectives and bringing light to things that how it affects other people. And so that's a huge part of my journey. And I'm hoping I can continue to inspire people to do the same thing. And try and just not, I'm not in this for like city council. Like, I'm not going to be paying millions or anything like that. It's not a job that is going to, you know, pay my bills everywhere, anything like that. But it's something that matters because it's the first step for me in a journey where I consider once I start, you know, doing more and moving up, it's going to continue building my character, building my experience, helping me find ways to help more people out, and just inspiring more. I don't know, who knows on this journey, if someone's watching me, seeing me do this, and who knows who I can be inspired. I can be inspiring the next future senator, the next future president, like, or someone by saying, oh, wow, like this is possible. And I've had messages flooded with DMs, I'm always getting messages of people saying, wow, like I'm actually so inspired by this. I actually wanted to always do that. I didn't know it was possible. And now seeing that come to light and seeing me be a catalyst of that is anything I could have dreamed of and what I'm hoping to do, you know?
Well, I mean, Josh, I gotta say, I'm just happy to be connected with you. Like I said, the minute that King 5 put it out there, we ran that on the Morning Update show, and I was like, wow, you know, a 21-year-old Black male that has the background that you do. I just am so thankful that you had time to come to the Morning Update show today. Share a little bit about who you are, what you're looking to do, and how you're looking to inspire, you know, the next generation of elected officials, of possibly politicians, and just advocates. Like you said, people that are out there that don't keep their ideas to themselves, but they bring it out. Everybody here in our audience knows that my modicum every single day is see yourself as part of the solution. And I'm so glad that I'm able to end this show with you today because you are totally doing that, Josh. We're going to be talking more because you have so much more to offer in terms of your story. And so we'll be making sure that we get it all captured because it's so important. And it's so of the times that we're in right now when we talk about having that spark and then doing something with it. So thank you again, Josh, for being with us today. If folks want to get in touch with you, follow your campaign, what are your handles so that folks can stay in touch?
My Facebook is at Josh Binda, so you can follow me on there. I do a lot of updates also on my Instagram. It's also at Josh Binda. I kind of mix it up a little bit. Also do TikTok, which is also at Josh Binda as well. And my Twitter is all of it's at Josh Binda, basically. So you can keep updates with that. I'll be posting a lot about what's my journey, what's happening, and how I want to implement change. And I just want to really take the time to really say, like, you can be the change you want to see. And I'm a living proof of that right now. Like I said, with my journey, everything that's happened, it is so possible. It is so feasible. So anyone that's at a certain point in their life that says they want to make a difference or they want to find ways, like, please feel free to reach out to me, talk to me. And if I can help you in any way, shape, or form, I will do that. I'm not just here to be some sole representation. My goal is to embody everyone as much as I can to really be the change and do what they can to make a difference, because at the end of the day, that's all we can do as people, and all we can try and do is implement the things that we want to see. And if we all get together and have the same passion, the same heart for that, I think we can make the world as better a place as we can. And that's why we're here even today, because people made that same decision, and we can continue making that same decision. So thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I look forward to being back here talking with you and talking with everybody else. And let's see how this journey goes. I'm excited.
Right on. Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Man, if you guys are living out there in the city of Lynwood and you don't know who Josh Binda is, let me tell you, make sure you guys get in touch with this young brother. He's looking to make some amazing change, phenomenal story, and totally inspiring us all here at Converge today. We got a short break, and I'll be ending the show right after. Stay tuned, you guys. You're watching The Morning Update.
Hey Seattle, if you're trying to find something to do this summer, I got the perfect thing for you. Come on down to Seattle Waterfront's Pier 62 and enjoy free, yes free, family-friendly events all summer long, like art, dance, music, storytelling. And if you're trying to get that body right before the summer is over, you might as well join their free yoga and fitness classes. Head on over to Waterfront Park Seattle for a full summer schedule of vibes you don't want to miss.
Hey, it's me, downtown Seattle, C-Town. Wish you were here. Here to explore inside, outside, and everywhere in between. Where it's easy to get my good side. Here, where my rooftops invite you to come early and stay late. Where every view is a postcard, and each night out might be your best night ever. See you soon. Love, C-Town.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday. And I know that we are over time, but we have to make sure we get this in here because today is National Hip Hop Day. And you know what? Our partner over there, Stephanie Johnson-Tolliver at the Black Heritage Society, made sure that we are here to pay homage to the John Moore, word sayer. So beautiful. We have a great montage here for you, as John Moore was really a person right here in Seattle who inspired so many, had the words of wisdom on the mic, and was so integral in the hip hop community here in Seattle. We are better, all the better for everything that you gave John Moore. And to John Moore's family, you know, we're sending you guys love. We know how much of a legacy he was right here. And if we don't acknowledge all those who are making us better, then we are doing a disservice to the people. So we are so inspired by the work of John Moore. And hey, get out there, you know, listen to some of your favorite hip hop today. National Hip Hop Day. We know it started with messages of Black resilience, and there's so many amazing lyricists that continue that legacy to this very day. Thank you guys so much for being with us on the Morning Update Show. We have an amazing lineup of guests tomorrow. I got a co-host with Stephanie Morales from AXSM Art. She is also going to be talking about the Link Project. I also have Elishaba Johnson from Wanawari. She's going to be here letting us know some things that they have going on, as well as some of the artist selection for Africatown Plaza. And I have an amazing artist who also has amazing murals and art right there at Rooted 23. Idimbo Lakia will be with us as well. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us as we went overtime. I get into it with these guests, so apologies, but we are so appreciative of you as always. Thank you for watching. I'm going to say, see yourself as a part of the solution. Big O, if he was here, would say, go forward in your purpose and go forward in your humanity. Until tomorrow at 11 a.m., peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the
that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.